And welcome to this episode of Out of Character.
Sorry, we're having a conversation. It's fine.
So yeah, this is going to be kind of a summation and thoughts and feelings, and we're going to drop the Meta Shield on Monster of the Week since we have finished filming. So if you have not seen the last episode, please go and watch them before you watch this, because...
And if you've already watched them, then drop a cassette tape in the comments.
Okay.
Okay. What? Sure, why not?
Literal cassette tapes.
No, like,
no,
send us cassette tapes.
What?
No. No, like the emoji of the cassette tape. If you are not a 90s kid and you don't know what cassette tapes are, ask your mother or your father.
My cassette for Ace of Base, I could use a replacement.
Go back and watch our show with your mother or father.
And have them explain what's happening.
That's probably weird.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't think it's that weird. It's a good show. Tell your parents about it.
It's a good family bonding show.
Yeah, there's lots of emotions in family time.
Okay.
I just wanted to ruin the moment.
We finished up the story arc for season 1 of Monster of the Week. There were a lot of things that happened at the end. So I guess we'll just kind of start with some questions. Danica, you got to see Gray kill your father. How you feeling about that?
I think that Danica has mixed feelings about that. And for most of her life, he wasn't some old, weird, magical monster guy. To her knowledge, she was just her workaholic dad. So she loves him, right? I mean, it's her father. It's not like he was an asshole to her or anything. On the other side, she found out that he was responsible for her brother's death and all of these other things about him. And she knew for her safety and her mother's safety that him being dead was probably the best option. So I don't think she holds any offense to Cray with that. But I definitely think that there's going to be a mourning period for her from that loss.
So you're not blaming Gray for any of this. It wouldn't be any resentment at all for what had happened.
I don't think that there would be resentment. I think, and mostly because a few episodes before that, when we had that, or the episode maybe before that, when we had that moment in Bobby's house, she asked him, when this is all done, when we kill these guys, can you help me kill my father? Or stop him? Because I am in danger until he is gone, basically. So they've already had this conversation. I don't think that she expected it to happen so quickly. But, things happen.
That's fair. And then, we had Iolos kidnap Olivia and take her to the church after she had wrecked the urn that you guys had hoped to entrap them in. And there was the pinnacle in the church, and as Iolos stood there, Olivia had started to draw the energy and use it as a conduit, the two pieces to draw Iolos in, and when everyone arrived, Iolos kind of smiled around because it was actually all part of their plan to be absorbed and use the energy from Olivia to actually break the seal. And it had been broken for long enough to the point where one of the Titans was actually able to escape. And there'll be a little bit more on that, but we'll just say that it is someone who can bend time. There is a tear in time that the team decides to follow this individual through, and they all had to make the hard choice on whether or not to follow this individual through this time jump and give up their time in the present. And it seemed like everybody, was willing to chase this down. This was their burden to take, but the last ones through the tear were Olivia and Henrietta. Henrietta finally saying that, revealing her very grievous wounds way past death, revealing it to Olivia after the others had stepped through. How is Olivia gonna deal with Henrietta's death now that
she's gone?
Yeah, another figure that had been there for the longest time.
Yeah, well, considering we had been without Henrietta for Christmas, it's like that was the first Christmas without her, and now, so just a little taste of it hurt, let alone not having her around at all. So I'm sure Olivia is just going to be severely depressed, immediately out of the tear. I haven't quite figured out exactly how she's going to either lash out at everybody and be like, leave me alone, and be just an edgy emo teenager.
Going into the right decade.
Right. just go head deep into the grunge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if Travis intentionally, tried to keep it hidden or anything so that she would die or that it would be a tough choice or something. But obviously it was hard leaving her body, save for the fact that I took stuff from it.
Always with the body.
Yeah. But that was more for in case there was something that we might need to track down Kronos.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more this is really shitty, but we have a job to do. We have to keep doing it, and that's what Henrietta would have wanted. So
I would say, she definitely needed those things, but also it was probably, I would say that she probably grabbed it because it, will probably end up being a memento of Henrietta, those things, and
just not her boots.
Yeah, those stay.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good question, Henrietta. Did you not tell anybody about your wounds intentionally?
No. I left it up to fate and player agency, and it was what happened. Going in this, I knew that for any of the players there was a chance of them dying, and so that was definitely left open for Henrietta. Henrietta playing the wronged class or playbook, whatever you want to call it. It's really built to be a tank. And so that's what Henrietta was. She was a woman just bent on, vengeance, for her lost son. She got that, but now, she was out to save, her adopted daughter and really all of her adopted daughters, because she, being the older woman, she felt like she wanted to look after, these young girls and make sure they got on the right foot in life. And they all had, these kind of tragic pasts, and she totally understood that, having witnessed her own son be brutally murdered in front of her eyes. To answer the question, I went way around that, but no, it wasn't my intention to hide anything or, to purposely kill her off or anything like that. There was a moment when Eric's character, Dawn, asked, how you doing? And I tried to answer in a way that wasn't, I'm a big role player, so I didn't want to be super direct about it, but I said, that she does not look okay, but she is focused on the fight. And so that's how I played that out. And, I understand if you didn't pick up on the hint,
I didn't.
That's
yeah, because that was when we left. I think I might have been the most shocked that Henrietta didn't survive. I imagine if you watch the video, I'm sure I'm
Yeah, and I mean, it's nothing on you because it's we're all in the middle of the fight. We're all thinking our own things and playing our characters to the best of our abilities, and so it's just something happened, and Henrietta completed what she set out to do, and I think this is the most fitting end I could think of for any character ever.
I'm excited to see, a character death is always such a huge thing in a party, in any role-playing game. And I'm interested to see how this affects either the closeness that we gain together as a party, or if it'll divide us apart as a group because of the law. So that's something interesting, I think, that will develop when we do season 2.
I am afraid to see what's going to happen between the girls, because I know, thinking about the conversation that we had where I clearly didn't pick up on where Henrietta was at. I think Dawn plays a weird role because I feel like she feels like she's there to heal people, but she can also damage fairly well. And so in that moment, I know I was thinking, hey, how do you look? I want to take care of you. And I felt like you said, I'm not great, but I'm doing okay. That's kind of how I heard it. I was oh, I need to take care of Iolaus right now. We can regroup at the end. She's fighting. And I totally forgot you have that thing where you will go to 0 and stay up. And so I wasn't thinking about that because in the moment you're just fighting. Mm-hmm. So I'm scared because I'm thinking about how Dawn's going to react. Because I feel like Dawn was one of the first people to go through the tear. So I'm not even 100% sure if she knows about Henrietta yet. It's still happening. Mm-hmm. I know she is going to feel horrible about it because she doesn't want to lose. She feels like she's failed at her job then because she didn't help her party members.
I also kind of wonder though if this might bring you Dawn and Olivia closer. It's because Dawn knows what it's like. She's lost her mother. She's been through that loss, and this is the mother. This is Olivia's mother to her, right? So, and she's gone through that loss too. So it could be an interesting bonding time for you guys to talk about that loss. That's not something that maybe the other two people in the party is.
That's my thought is it's either going to go that route or it's going to pull them apart because Dawn's going to be racked with guilt because she didn't do her job, and Olivia could see that, and Dawn lash out at Dawn or have that resentment, even if it's not even you don't even think it could still be there, which is good role play, right?
Right.
But that's half the fun is the 3 girls doing shit, and I don't know, season 2
I'm also interested to see what the party dynamic is going to be like, because a lot of the times it's the 3 girls, they do their magic stuff, and then you've got the 2 non-magic people over here doing their stuff. You guys go do magic stuff. We don't get it. We'll go and do the other stuff. So now it's just going to be Gray and the weird sisters,
and whoever Travis,
and whoever the new person
will it be a boy?
Will
it be a girl?
Right,
non-binary,
right?
It will be the 90s.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the big...
But I'm also interested if we're asking questions or if Josh has more questions.
I had one more just on the ending of everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Just one last one, so keep that one in mind.
Okay.
But just kind of wrapping things up with questions. You answered the next one that I was going to have, how Dawn feels about, Olivia stepping through that portal without Henrietta and how she's going to deal with that. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to see. But then there's also Gray leaving behind the girl for 7 years in the construct. So how does Gray feel?
I mean, you kind of pushed him through. I mean,
maybe he didn't
Gray
was dragged through this thing. I guess, just to put it out there, you're probably going to expect Gray to be very upset about things. There was a shift in management, and suddenly he's pulled away from this. As far as the girl, he's already committed to the idea that if he is in her life, she is in danger. He is if they are near each other, he doesn't believe that she's safe. That he's going to end up being the reason he gets killed or worse. So I don't know how he's going to feel about that for sure yet. We'll see. But that being 7 years away might just be, well, that's enough for her to be, well, almost an adult.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
8, so she'd be 15.
Yeah, so that might be enough to where, okay, she's hopefully living a life and has moved on from
Here's
that. So.
what I'm interested in. I don't know I obviously don't know what that note that you wrote was.
Yeah.
But if she was left in the compound, if that's where she was raised for the rest of the time by Biddy, by Susie, whatever, what has she turned into?
That's, yeah.
Is she now a member of this organization? Are we going to run into her as a almost adult monster hunting girl who was raised by my mother in this life?
That would be
Like, I love the idea of that. That would be pretty cool. That's what I'm is hoping is happening.
Is she part of your band?
Yeah, she can be part of my
God.
band.
That would actually really just like
Icing on the cake.
Yes.
Now, I'm curious if Evers is gonna, keep his goofy ways as he gets older.
I would like to see how Ever is going to be older than all of us when we see him again. He'll be probably in his late 20s because I don't know how old he was, but
He was 18.
Yeah, so he'll be older than all of us. I wonder if he's matured a little bit, if he's gotten into more 90s kind of he'll be in his late 20s, so he might not be in the culture of what's popular so much in the 90s, but maybe he might be a little bit. So yeah, I'm interested to see him and I don't remember the other guy's name.
Donzo.
So I'll let him for a minute. Donzo. I'm excited to see that too, but also
maybe they're gonna be really
how
good.
is this little girl going to grow up being raised by Ever, Donzo, Susie, and Biddy?
Or maybe they find a home for her. I mean,
No,
who
they're going
knows?
to keep her.
Yeah, that's probably where she's the safest, to be honest.
That's probably where she's the
It
safest.
depends if anything's after her, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then also
I mean,
having
her parents
known,
are dead. Her parents that she was with before.
having known Henrietta from long before you had joined up with this group, how does Gray feel about that death?
I think so. Gray doesn't have any real feelings about death. It's just it happens. Sometimes you get killed. Sometimes you just die. I think for Gray, he recognizes that for her, it's at least an end that was fitting enough. She achieved the goals that she had, and well, if in the couple months that this has been, he has learned that demons and angels exist, and now, okay, so there must be a heaven. What the hell does that mean for him? Because if there's a heaven, there's probably a hell. He knows where he's going then. So maybe she finally got to be reunited with her son. And that was kind of just what she wanted. So
Fair.
as far as he's concerned, she's gone. He'll move on. Good for her, hopefully.
All right. And what was your question?
That was my question. I wanted to know more about the kid or what Gray thought, coming out of this 7 years later. But I think we answered that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I have a question, but first, I just want to do a little commentary on just reflecting on this last episode, just kind of the sudden and violent evolution of the party, all the members and the party itself. I think, we started off as just this disjointed group of people that we came together for one mission and just got tied in at the very get-go, and we didn't even know what to do with all this. And the whole time, we're just what are we even doing? And all the chaos kind of left in our wake largely due to Danica turning things into monsters.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. I do want to check in on Tire Man. It's been 7 years. Let's see what he's been up to.
He's only gained in power and influence.
Yeah,
He lit on fire at one point, and I was just Fire Tire Man.
Fire Tire Man.
Watch out, those tires will burn for years.
Yeah.
Go Fire Tire Man.
Real inspiration for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just at the very end, like we're chasing down the last elemental, we're trying to stop the Titans and all that, and like we're heading towards death, like with hardly a plan in sight, and in the very end, like the portal split open, like something got out, and like everyone just fucking jumps through, like. The initial party would not have done that,
Right.
because again,
Yeah.
we've left literal monsters behind us.
Yes.
We've been very irresponsible up until this point, and like all of a sudden,
All of a sudden, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's now this group's responsibility to save the world.
I mean, to be fair though, some of those monsters we would probably know, having done Magic before, that they don't last super long. It's not like they live for years and years. I mean,
Yeah.
spells have a duration.
I mean, some of the monsters got destroyed very quickly.
Right.
I mean, Heyman did not last very long.
And the Ice Men,
Yeah,
that
the Snowman
Snowman,
did not
yep.
last very long
Nope,
either.
nope.
Yes.
Rockman barely made it for like a minute.
That aside,
Fireman's on another plane. It's
Right.
fine.
that aside, though, I'm just saying, like
Yeah,
you
what
know,
happened to the dragon?
we
That was
Right.
not us.
Yeah,
We didn't summon that dragon.
Yeah, the dragon was just off
Yeah,
somewhere.
like-
We're gonna meet
That
him, and
homeless
he's just
man
gonna
dragon.
be like,
Yeah.
he's gonna
Yeah.
be chill,
But yeah, I'm just saying we're a very different party than I
Yeah.
For
think.
sure.
But that's good. That's what should
Yeah.
happen,
I
right?
have a question. Are you done with what?
I had a question too.
Oh, okay.
But hey, if you want to throw it
Okay.
out there.
Well, this is an insider of me living with the keeper question. Okay.
Okay.
At some point in time, you were like, I had an idea and everything changed. I needed to rewrite some stuff. What was the ending going to be like before you made all those changes? Like, what was your
Yeah,
original
what was-
plan that's changed?
So
Alternate universe.
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
What kind of torture were you planning for us originally?
So it was originally going to be a different Titan that had gotten released upon the world. I was actually looking at either Oceanus or what was the other one? The other one had power over. I'll have to look
Over
at
God.
that. Yes.
Power over God.
Power over God. But yeah, I was like, oh man, that'd be really cool. Then you guys would have to stop, floods or, even like droughts because, they had the power to.
Yeah, we'd have to be pirates, yeah.
Yeah!
Maybe I subconsciously took that under advisement in my head for you.
So did you change your mind because we kept joking about playing in the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, wait a second, Kronos has the power of time,
Mm-hmm.
I could time skip. And that was one of the things I was worried about too when Gray had actually mentioned going back to the bunker and unplugging, was that there's no way to tell
Yeah.
where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
And, like, you may have overjumped and...
Now it's 2003.
It's
Yeah,
like
right.
Hero. You're like, oh, I went back.
Everybody's
You're
got
like,
low ride.
Except for the reverse button is broken and
Yeah.
Right.
there's only one
You've just
direction.
been like sitting there like,
you just Futurama and you just go all the way around again.
Oh, yeah.
Just poke your head out each
And when
time.
Gray said there's another way, I was like, okay, the slow wait, I guess, is one way to do it. But
Right.
I did think it was interesting. No one opted to stay behind.
Yeah, I thought Gray was gonna stay.
And Danica
Actually,
even
yeah.
asked him, what about the kid? Like, I feel like she was trying to give him the option to stay. I don't know if it came off that way.
I really
but-
feel like you just like pushed
Putting
him.
one
Just-
stay behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah.
Against one's will.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah,
Gray didn't want. He didn't want to. He has effectively everything he's been trying to achieve to lose.
It's true.
So yeah, if he wasn't one square away from death, it probably would have been a little different, but...
But you need us to heal you.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to play it off more like
He just didn't have the energy
He just
to...
doesn't have the ability to do anything. Like, if you pull him through, he can't stop you.
Right.
So,
It's probably good for Gray in the sense that he's 7 years in the future, because if he is like on the FBI's most wanted, like top 10, they probably would assume you're dead after like 6 to 9 months.
Right.
In theory, and 7 years later, you can come up and almost have a new identity.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Or at least
They're not going to be
identity,
looking
but, like,
for. That's another
they're not
thing
gonna
too.
expect
Yeah,
you.
they're not going to be looking for you 7 years younger than what you should be.
Right.
Yeah. So you can have a built-in, like,
Disguise.
yeah.
And 7 years doesn't seem
There's-
like that
yeah.
long,
It's a
but
long time.
yeah.
though, to be honest, they're searching for him. It's
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
they've been trying to get him for so long, and then they just pile on things to blame him for, right? Like that neighborhood, everyone. Like, there's no way that this one man could possibly have convinced a whole neighborhood of people to kill themselves yet. Well, we'll pin it on him and then say that he kidnapped a girl from the neighborhood as well. So, yes, that's a 7 years jump for all of us is probably going to be necessary for us to come up with some sort of new identity. It might be a little awkward, I don't know. Although the 80s to the 90s, things were different. We didn't have the surveillance that we do.
I don't know.
today, so-
I think for the most part, because it's only been 7 years and most of us are pretty young, we might be able to pull it off. The girls, especially with enough makeup, we could probably convince people that we're in our mid-20s or late 20s.
If need be, yeah.
If need be, and
Well,
still
then contouring.
be us. But I'm interested. I'm really interested in seeing how our absence is explained in the world.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the 80s and the 90s. There, especially in the 80s, there wasn't really internet, so people could just kind of
Fall off.
move.
I can't wait till we
and
go to a
fall
Walmart
off
and
the-
just see our faces on missing posters.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
especially the 3 girls.
Yeah. Plus,
Because you're like famous
yeah. So
senator's daughter.
plus, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another thing that I have a comment on. But plus, we're all adults, so we're not like missing children, so they're
Yeah.
not going to
Oh,
be like
true.
really out looking.
Well,
for
you're a
us,
missing
right?
child, aren't you? Like 19?
I'm 18.
you're fine,
The only surviving parent that I have is a hunter, so
She
she
will
is
be aware,
not,
right?
yeah, right. You have no living family,
True, so no one's
and
looking for me.
your father might.
Oh, yeah, you're
I know,
definitely freaking
Yeah.
out.
Like, so that's one of my big regrets. I don't know, like, maybe we should go around and talk about those things that we regret.
Yeah.
So, I think in the second last episode, Iola said, "I'll see you at home" to Dawn.
Mhm.
And, like, Eric panicked because I was like, I don't know what that means. And I was, like, taking that in. And I think I mentioned it, like, very, like, I don't know what's going on with my dad. But, like, the party and we, as 5 people, decided to go to the bunker. When I was like, and as that's happening, I was like, but we should be going back to Minneapolis. Like, we need to go there.
Mhm.
I think my thought process was that she said that as a threat
Yeah.
to try to get
Yep.
us to go there.
Yeah.
That's,
But
yeah.
she would not go there and fuck with him herself if we didn't go there, right?
Yeah. So, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, why would they want to go back there? What's there? So, like, that was my first thought is like, yeah, she just, are they just trying to, like, get under my skin?
Mhm.
But then that's also eating away at Dawn. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen because I think that's going to be the breaking point too.
Mhm.
Is, maybe we should have went there. We could have, there's always that, like, we could have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm thinking about it as, like, a person who doesn't, as a role player, I don't know how to put that information out there.
Mhm.
And, we have very strong players that I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's cool. Like, I'm very submissive with that. And so I regret not taking that information and doing something with it, but it's also like, was it a threat?
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see there. So that's like one of my, like, there's the, like, not healing Henry, like, regret. And then it's also like that, what was that information about and why? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, you could ask and see if Josh would tell you.
I don't think he will because I think we need to see what happens
There
to
might be
Dale
more
in
information
7
in
years.
this season.
I mean,
yeah.
so when we talked about, like, we knew that this was ending. We knew it was going to be, like, and we had talked about doing something in the 90s, like, just as us, like, hey, that'd be fun. In my head, we were going to do Monster of the Week gameplay, but I'm like, oh, well, let's do characters in the 90s. That'd be really cool. Like, it's like Friends, but like Monster of the Week.
Sure.
Just like, right? Like, we're like, how you doing? Ah, monster! Like, it's going to be a very like sitcom-y, like, so like, I didn't think of that it would be a season 2 of season 1. I thought it was just going to be like campaign 2, series 2.
Sure.
And so like I was like, okay, well we can just, and at the end I was just burning luck points because I was like, yeah, I've never used these, and I was like, oh, like I might need those in 7 years. So so there's like that regret there, and it's like, oh, like you play different when you like know different things. I was just in my head, I was like, this is a chunk of time. This is what we're doing. I didn't know that it would be a future, which I'm excited for, but like that's not how I was envisioning my gameplay. So like I regret that. So yeah, I don't know. Is there any other? Does anyone else have regrets or like things that they thought would have done differently if they'd known, or just Eric?
I probably would have tried to make I probably would have been more emotional for Henry's death if we didn't have the thing literally closing and I literally didn't have time to do anything.
That is more realistic though, because
Right.
that when something like that sudden happens, there's not emotion, it's shock.
Yeah.
Right.
And the emotion comes later.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Yeah.
going to be a breakdown in 1992 or whatever
Yeah.
they are.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna in the middle of that club where I decked that guy. You're gonna
I love that that's the first thing you do.
Yeah. No, excuse me, sir. Or, excuse me, ma'am.
yeah.
Right?
Grab my tit.
Oh shit!
Don't break my heart.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You don't like dinosaurs?
Oh, I don't, but
Oh.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that happened. I
Please
forgot
tell
we,
us
like,
we're in Seattle so we can be in the heart of grunge.
You don't know where you're at.
But I want to be in the heart of grunge.
You don't know where you're at. It's all right.
It's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
So,
No, it's not. We were in Florida.
um,
No, we weren't. Where were we? We were in Kansas.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Kansas. It was
Kansas.
Wichita.
Wichita.
Yeah, carry on, my wayward son.
the north side of Kansas.
You're in Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence.
Yeah.
We went through
Lawrence.
Wichita. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
You have any other
Regrets?
regrets or things you wish that you would have done differently?
I wish I would have tried my powers earlier, like the ice knife
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I wanted to try more of those, and now I can't because I lost them
Oh,
all.
they're
So
gone.
yeah, because I tried the ice knife right before we went through,
Yeah.
and I couldn't. So I probably would have tried to use those more if I knew I could.
Like as soon as I had given you the earth power, I was like, I wonder if he'll try to like channel it at all, because like that was the first power the fire power,
Fire, yeah.
and I was wondering because like I had you channeling these energies. I was just wondering if you would actually implement them or not. So I didn't want to be heavy-handed with it, but
which sign did you have? Do you
The
have
fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is just Eric, maybe not being good at gameplay, but like I thought that we were going to fight all of these elementals, and I thought each elemental was like your nemesis almost. And I felt like each of us had to take down the old thing. And I didn't realize that you were going to absorb them all.
Mhm.
I thought each of us were going to absorb them.
I thought
And I was
the
like,
same thing.
oh, cool. I couldn't wait to see what all of our things were. And then all of a sudden I was like, fuck it. You know, I got things.
Right.
I was like,
You got your mom's power.
Yeah,
for the most
I
part.
got, not really.
Some of it. Some of it.
Maybe.
All the time healing she got was like from items that she got.
Although you might not.
But she glued. I don't think we ever figured out why she was
You might.
glowing.
I wonder though if you still have that power of your
Mhm.
mom now that we've closed the.
I think so because I think she always is able to heal, and then she has the Santa Claus necklace,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then the ring does something. I don't remember what the ring does off the top of my head. And so I feel like that's where I don't know, maybe there's more power that I didn't know Dawn had,
Maybe.
and that could be something to explore in season 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, I thought we were, and then I was like, okay, that's what we're doing, and I'm like, that's cool, but like, I didn't know that was the route. That's just, I was like, oh, okay, Matt gets that, and then that's how I thought it was going to be. But then at one point I was like, well, what is Dawn going to get? It's like, she's going to like ensnare her mother and get the power, you know. So,
Yeah.
so it's interesting to like see you like go atomic, basically.
Right.
I feel like for me, the regret that I have is so I really wish that I would have talked to Danica's father more when we met him, because she was too afraid to ask anything about what she knew about him because she didn't want him to know that she knew.
Right.
But I also kind of wish I would have said something to find out, like, why, you know, why all this is happening, why he did what he did. You know, does he even really love his family, or was this like a means to an end? He needed somebody to pass these powers on to for his
Or was it all like
whatever.
a facade, like
Yeah.
something to have so he could like still be doing it?
And also, like, is this group evil? Is it really an evil group, or are they doing good things too?
Right.
You
Well,
know,
they
like
don't
we didn't
exist
know
anymore,
anything.
Right, yeah,
Weird.
they're all dead.
Yeah,
Like-
they're all dead, right? But part of me, and Danica doesn't think this, but I think this, that because Gray was given the order to kill them by a demon, that this is going to end up bad for us.
Yeah.
Like there's a bad outcome to this. And Josh has given me this look like, I'm going to fuck you guys over. But that's what I was getting that, like, really bad feeling as Gray was killing them all. I was like, this is going to end up bad for us. This is not going to be a good thing. We're going to see the repercussions of this in the 90s, I think.
Did you specifically plan for him to kill all of them during the combat, or was that just like a...
I gave him the opportunity. I did not know if he would do it, but he fulfilled his contract, so...
The dutiful soldier.
He fulfills his contract.
Who was surprised by that?
I was
very surprised that was happening. One, I was surprised that they showed up.
right.
I was surprised that like your father, like who had like this was like this evil character that we'd only kind of met, but he was this mysterious evil character. I feel like you guys were on like good terms at that battle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think this might be good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was just getting like shanked, and I was like,
I think that Danica was doing, in her mind, she was like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
yeah, that's what we were
And
talking
it is,
about.
and it is her father, and there's already that trust there.
Yeah.
So if he is against what they're fighting, then she's going to like help
Yeah.
him, right? But she saw like in the background what Gray was doing, and she did not try to stop him.
Yeah.
And even when she saw that he was coming for her father, she just backed away from the situation.
Yeah, that was
Like
interesting.
almost like as to Gray, like, and they even like had like a visual connection.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna do this? And and she was like, do it. Like, I'm not going to stop you. Just get it over with, kind of thing. Even though I personally think this is going to have bad repercussions for us later on.
100%.
Or for the world. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows all the things that group, that ancient group of people had their fingers in.
Right.
Well, I feel like Dawn was like too manic to like really do anything, because I think she was too busy like trying to do this and trying to do that, and she knew what they were focused on with Iolus and like all these other people, and like can't stop my party member from doing this, but like I don't think we should be doing this, but like also like I don't know, maybe it's the way that I think about my position in the group. Like I don't feel like Dawn has a say in anything. Like she's just there. Yeah, I feel like Dawn's just there. Like she wasn't there with the first meeting.
Yeah. But I also feel like
you know what I
this
mean?
whole thing has been driven by us meeting Dawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she still is not the like, and maybe it's just a confidence thing for myself and like the way that I do the characters, and like Dawn's like she's just there and she's just trying to like figure it out, and like I don't think she had, and like also who's gonna say to an adult that like don't do that, like to an adult man in the 80s, like I don't think a woman in the 80s would have.
Yeah, but it's
I mean, she's
also,
badass,
like,
but also
Dawn is young and she is not a hunter.
no.
She is doing this
Yeah.
as something that her mom told her to do. She is not familiar with this world that she's fallen into, but these people that she's with seem to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I could understand a little bit, like she's kind of just like, well, they're going to help me. Let me just.
Yeah, I think that's I feel like that's what she's feeling, and I didn't even realize that's what it is. But I feel like I don't consider her a hunter.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing.
And I don't think that she really was. I think that this is just a circumstance thing.
Right.
And now this is the world that she's in. Because anyone who's watched Supernatural knows, you fall into this life. This is the life that you're in now.
Right.
There's no getting out.
There's no getting out of being a hunter
Just
once you fall into it. Yeah.
But the real question is, was the spirit of Arthur destroyed along with your father?
I did not try to summon him, but I did get my sword back. And I also have my father's sword, because we took it off of your corpse.
Right.
As soon as there's not impending danger or being arrested for punching a guy, she will try to summon him.
I do wonder if Dawn's going to discover anime and turn Kill Bill, because she's got a katana now.
Right. Yeah.
Just imagine her in like an Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
With like a Run DMC like Kangol hat
like it.
and a fucking katana.
Yeah. Danica's gonna go. Let's talk about what we think our characters are gonna fall into.
Yeah.
I think Danica's gonna go full grunge look.
Mm.
I mean, that's only a step away from the full rocker look.
Yeah.
Really, it's flatter hair, more flannel.
Aren't they like opposites though?
Doc Martens.
Like, wasn't grunge in complete reaction to rock?
It is, but in my mind, like looking back into the history now, it's just what rock fell into.
Mm.
Rock kind of fell out of being popular, and then it became grunge.
Oh, don't say that too loud. Don't let Danica hear you.
Danica, yeah, right. She'll punch you. But I think, and maybe this is just me imprinting on Danica. I love 80s rock. That's why she loves 80s rock. I love 90s grunge. I love grunge music. Therefore, Danica is probably also going to fall into that love of grunge music.
I love 90s pop.
I do
I
like
can see
music.
90s pop.
I like
Either that or she'll
Yeah.
become a total, like, house scene person. She'll be turned into, like, a house
just
like-
raves.
dance rave person.
Raise your hand if you're surprised that none of us got hooked to cocaine in the 80s.
Danica tried coke.
Yeah, but we didn't get hooked. It wasn't
Well,
a common theme.
Yeah. The one time Danica did drugs. I do still have plus coke written on my paper. I don't know. If we start going to raves, we might still get some LSD.
We're just gonna do some X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Gray? What are you going to adapt your style? And suits are timeless, like, to be fair.
Right.
They are indeed.
It's true.
I don't know.
It's that high collar power suit.
I feel like I also, and we forgot Christian too. I also need to know what your character regrets.
And Henry.
Yeah.
And Henrietta, because Henrietta was alive for those
I do regret dying.
Actually, I think of anyone in particular I'd like to talk about. There's several things that I do regret. Maybe not bringing up sooner, but well, I've kind of tried to make it that so that he doesn't really care who knows. The whole, like, everyone just kind of calling him Gray thing and nobody knowing his name, kind of just like, nobody asked.
Right.
Whatever, y'all are calling me Gray, that's whatever, you do you, right?
To be fair,
how you
I think that we
Right,
learned
yeah.
your full name episode 1 when
I-
Henrietta called you Raymond Grayson and Danica went, Mr. Gray.
Yep.
I feel like that might have, yeah.
I think it was Danica that stuck you with the nickname, and then that's just
Probably.
That's how Don knows it. That's how Don
Right,
knows him.
'cause
Yeah,
yeah,
no one ever. I was too.
no one corrected you.
Yeah.
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 But now you're Ray Gray, so
Right.
God
So-
damn.
He was just a 90s rapper.
Right. I was thinking like Run DMC
I
or
was thinking of
something.
Ray J,
Oh, okay.
Randy's brother.
I mean, as far as some of his personal things, yeah, there are things he's just not going to talk about because that's things that you just don't need to know that.
they're getting you to admit that kid was your daughter, like pulling teeth.
Oh, yeah.
But Danica got it out of you eventually.
Right.
Well, yeah. I don't know. What about Henrietta?
Henrietta, in relation to your character, obviously they did have a past that we never explored. It was just we
Yeah,
never talked about it. We never, brought up
Right.
any real big details about it. I think at one time I tried to make Tallahassee happen, and it just didn't stick. But yeah, I mean, if I could go back, I would love to, role play that because I think that would have opened Gray up maybe a little bit more because, if you got him talking about his past, and I don't know, I guess we'll never really know because we personally have never, me and Christian never discussed what our past is. We just, first session, we were like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, there was no planning to that. I think in one of the rule books or something, it says
Yeah, you're supposed to know.
just
how you
like-
know them.
share how you know it. So I'm just throw this out there. We know each other.
Yep.
And I that's actually a regret that I do have too. I would have loved to have explored that more because I agree. I think it would have helped him.
Yeah.
Maybe just
But I think that's
talk
still
more.
something you guys could sit down and write about because that is something Olivia
might want to know.
Olivia knows that you guys
Yeah.
have a past, so she might want you to tell her about things about
might be part of the healing process.
Yeah, that may be a good healing process for her.
But
I guess we'll have to get to work on that.
Yeah.
or a one shot.
Yeah.
But
The Tallahassee one shot.
Yes, yes, the Tallahassee one shot.
That sounds like a line dancing.
It does.
We do it in the
Yeah,
90s.
or
Let's go do the
great.
Tallahassee one shot.
Or the watermelon crawl.
That sounds
Oh my
racist.
That's an actual
That's
thing.
stupid. I hate it. Stop thinking about it. Yeah.
Sounds like a sexual position. Alabama crab dangling, you got the Tallahassee one shot.
oh my.
I have a question for Mr. Gray or Christian. Okay, so throughout like most of the episodes, I feel like Danica's hinted that she is attracted to Gray. Has Gray caught on, and what does he think about it?
Oh.
Yes, he has.
Okay.
And
He's in his
He's
30s.
into Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
There's, I think, like a 7-year difference between them,
Nuh-uh.
or 8-year difference, because I think she's 22.
He's in his mid-30s, right?
I think he's 30.
he's 30.
Oh, 30.
Yeah.
I thought it was 35.
Yeah. There was a little bit of retconning. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so he has caught on. He's not clueless, unlike me. But
Let's look it up.
he's probably, because everything has happened so quickly, there isn't any like,
95.
let's do this.
I mean,
But I mean, if things slow down and she was like, yo, can we? He'd probably be like,
All right.
he
Question.
likely isn't
But if he didn't
into
quit it, and then we still had to drive around in the mystery van. That's awkward.
That would be super
Don
awkward.
already doesn't like you.
yeah, I don't know that he's already mentioned a few like flings, so I don't know that he's into the idea of having something that is lasting.
Danica is a
So-
22-year-old girl. She's not interested in anything lasting either. She just wants to fuck, man.
Yeah, but once that happens, then he's stuck with you in the group. So
Right.
True.
If
Can they
Yeah.
keep it
What
casual,
about
or
Olivia?
how long
Right, yeah.
can they keep it casual?
Olivia like came out. I don't
Yeah.
think had we known that?
No.
I feel like that
Olivia
was
and
a big
Dawn
thing.
did have like a little thing, a little attraction.
I mean,
Uh,
not really.
no.
It was more just like girl
I think
talk.
this literally.
Yeah.
No, you like.
Flat out, like,
Yeah.
Who
Tried
was it? I don't
it.
remember. Which was it?
it was the
Cashier or
yeah,
something
at the
Walgreens.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
no, it was at
yeah.
the gas station.
At the gas station. We got there right before the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, man, Danica gave her our number.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll meet her 7 years later, and maybe she'll still be hot.
Maybe.
But
But, like, that was like, did you know? Like, was that something that you knew, or was that just like a random?
It was just a random,
like
like-
a random thing.
yeah,
All of my characters are like random things. I'm like, well, now she's has 3 legs.
right.
Like,
And I don't know if she's like 100% gay, or maybe she's like questioning, like
Or
maybe
you just found,
maybe-
found that one person attractive,
right? Yeah, maybe it's like I'm
Also, you knew you were like going to the possible apocalypse. I might need to get something.
right. It also could have just been she wanted to get information, and so she is like using her influence and.
No, she's a lesbian. I like it that way.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Just put that in your mind. It makes me happy. Thank you.
But yeah, Henry didn't know that, and Henry literally died not knowing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm guessing Henry probably doesn't want to hear about.
Henry might have already knew that. Sometimes mamas just know.
Maybe.
I mean, it was a hunter's life. Like, she raised you in that. So, I think Henry would have had kind of a laissez-faire, like,
There's worse things.
Right.
yeah, just
Just as long as she's not a vampire.
Right.
right.
Or succubus.
Enjoy life while you're alive, because it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially for hunters.
Right.
So, yeah. You,
Okay.
Mr. Keeper.
All right.
Sorry I hit on your husband just now, but...
Do what you need to do.
okay,
We've also-
Sure.
so a couple things I was wondering.
Okay.
We kind of talked about it earlier about like the alternate ending and all that. What big moments that we changed that you wish you could have tried something else?
Oh gosh, I don't know if there is ever you guys changed something to the point of where I didn't like what was happening,
Mhm.
because everything was chaos, and that's just monster of the week. Like I have these important goalposts set up in my brain where you know I would like you to get to, and I will try to steer you in that direction, but everything in between is fantastic. I mean, there are just so many moments in all of the campaign that I absolutely loved. I mean, like, gosh, the first couple of episodes, where Dawn and Olivia had turned the wolves into werewolves in the museum.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, and
We were bad at magic then.
scared the shit out of the old man security guard in the zoo. That was
No, I don't think she was with.
Yeah, she was. We were leaving the zoo.
yeah. We
Oh,
were
it was
leaving the zoo.
leaving. She
Yeah.
wanted a T-shirt.
Yes, that's what. Then
I wanted a T-shirt too to mop up the blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not a stuffed animal yet.
Right.
I
Right.
got
Yeah.
small t-shirts.
Yeah, you
Yes.
did.
And I got a giraffe because I gave it to one of the kids.
Yes. To one of the Winchester boys.
Mhm.
Yep. But I mean, just like that's just an example of all the chaos that has happened in between these giant things. Like, there's never been a point where I was like, okay, they fucked this part up. What am I going to do down here? It was, I'll get them around here eventually, but this is really entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we are led fairly well. Like, we always have, like, we kind of know what we need to do, but we like to, like, skip around while we get there.
exactly.
We like to fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty good at wrangling us into where we need to go eventually.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you're forcing us there. We have fun along the way.
So what I think is interesting, or what like I like to know, and I feel like we've maybe talked about it a little bit. So this all came about because it was a year ago. I was going on vacation,
Mhm.
and you're like, usually we just take like a week off. We're like, oh, we'll just take like a bye week.
Yep.
And I feel like you had been reading about this like game mechanics, and you're like, hey, let's try it. And so you guys were going to play. That's the beginning of like filming, because we played for 2 years before we started filming.
Mm-hmm.
When did you? So, because I was just drinking, having a good time, and I got a text like, "Hey, can you create this character?" And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. He's gonna like hide a character for me in this one shot they're doing."
Yep.
And so like I spent all of 15 minutes deciding who Dan or Don was, and like continued to drink my tall boy and move on and go tip over a kayak. But my question is, when did you decide like, holy, we need to do like a longer arc? And then like, where did that start? Like, did you always have this?
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's
So
what
I
you did.
had this longer, like, first episode, kind of planned out, and it was just supposed to be this one episode while you were gone, and I wanted to hide a character that was you.
Which I thought was super cool.
Which I like to do in
I like Easter
the
eggs.
one shots and everything. Like our train one, we had Matt and Travis in there, as characters as well. But I wanted, I wanted you to be in there. But then you were watching it and you messaged and you were like, "Hey, this looks like a lot of fun. I really want to be in it." And I was like, "Okay."
I was drinking because I don't remember that conversation. But cool.
Yeah, you're like you were watching the recorded episode and you were like, "Oh man, this looks like a lot of fun. We should play it." And I was like, "Well, I did leave it off like in a kind of cliffhanger thing where you could join in at another time." And then like I think what ended up happening was like that portion. I was like, okay, so maybe on the off chance that somebody's missing from the campaign, we'll play this. So I started kind of doing the long thing, like I do like an episode or two ahead of planning, and then I believe that Matt and Travis were gone for episode 2. That was the airplane episode.
No,
it was like
Three.
the third or fourth one.
Because we did 3.5, which was the Henry Olivia getting pushed out of the plane.
Yes. 'cause
Sorry about that, guys.
Was,
That was still amazing. It was really fun.
Dawn,
Yeah.
and then we got out of
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
3, y'all got popped
Yeah.
out of an airplane.
You actually did episodes 3 and 4 without us.
Yeah.
Before we joined back in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
because we
originally
went
plan
on
was
an
like
ambulance chase. You guys missed out on Michigan.
Yep.
But yeah,
Kalamazoo.
that was the original thing. Was like, if somebody was going to be gone, we'll have fun. We'll still hang out.
Yeah.
We'll still do something. And then, episode 3 was just crazy in Kalamazoo with the incubi and the car chase and the ambulance. All of that was just crazy. Rockets in the back of Gray's car, where Danica's never shot one while she's tripping on coke. And
I would say Gray is a really bad influence on Danica.
Right?
Yeah, she thinks it.
She does.
She
That's not
is-
good.
I wasn't. She's very
That
attracted
is
to
great
Gray.
when you shouldn't do it.
right.
It's probably not a good thing.
Not
Like he's
true.
definitely not the kind of person you bring home to Dad, especially since he murdered her dad.
Right.
That's
But,
weird. That like reunion's gonna be weird.
Mhm. But yeah, I mean, there were those 2 episodes, and then of course we had to go back and do an episode to fill in between episodes 3 and 4. So I was still watching Supernatural at that point, and I was like, what if we give a little more backstory to Olivia and Henrietta, like a little more something deeper into their characters, since you guys were like literally 2 episodes ahead of them. And I was like, oh, maybe I could dig into Henrietta's background, and there's a very heavy emphasis on dream walking there. And then I was like, oh, but what's going on with Olivia? And I was like, well, she's got these telepathic powers. Why does she have these telepathic powers? And, what's going on with where she was being held and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, so we'll start going towards that. And then I don't even know what happened to where we decided, because we were all there for the episode in Purgatory.
That was a good episode.
Mhm.
That Purgatory
really
episode
fun.
was fun. I think that was the first episode we played all of us together.
Yeah.
Yep. Besides episode 2. I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
You know,
Since episode 2 we played all of us together.
I
I
haven't had any where anyone was missing since then.
Not since
No.
then.
No.
I think we got to the point where we're like, all need
yeah,
to be
I
here.
feel like at
Yeah.
a certain point
That's what we
we're
started
like,
doing,
no,
one-shots.
Right.
Yeah, that's when
we
it's
did
not
one shots off of our one shot.
Yeah. I do I've lost it now. Damn, I've lost it. I had a question and I've lost it.
Was it about Purgatory?
It might have been it was about before Purgatory and I've lost it.
Mhm.
I guess my question is like, what's everyone's like, holy shit moment?
Oh, yeah.
The Nephilim. That
Yeah,
was
like
that was the whole
Nephilim?
shit.
Like,
Yeah.
So that surprised me because like I didn't see that coming. Is that when you were at 3.5? Is that when you kind of thought about the Nephilim?
Yeah, I
stuff?
actually started thinking about it. I was like, I'd kind of hidden that in there, and I was wondering if you were going to dig into it a little more on maybe, why do I have these powers?
I was wondering, I was trying to figure out, like, there's gotta be a reason why these demons are so interested in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and like in the show, they always are like, oh, we want, like the demons are always like, oh, we want to, catch an angel, and I was like, they actually caught a Nephilim instead, and like in the supernatural universe, there's like hardly anything on Nephilim besides Jack, who is an archangel Nephilim, which is like super duper powered, and I guess we don't know about, or you don't know about Olivia's mom yet, so
Yeah.
maybe that'll be a thing in season 2.
Right. She comes to us in Henrietta form.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
I actually think, like, my biggest, my first, like, what? Moment was when I found out that my dad was in this, like, ancient organization.
Yeah.
Because what I had given Josh was just that, like, oh, her dad's a senator, they live in this old, like, mansion, like an estate house or whatever, and her mom was a hunter that retired successfully, and that was the story and her brother died in a mysterious way, and that's why her mother got back into hunting. That was the story I gave him, and I was like, do what you want. And that is never a good idea to say to the DM, do what you want.
Especially Josh.
Yeah, especially Josh. And then Josh was like, your dad's in an ancient order and he's gonna fuck you up. And I was like,
Same.
Yeah, but how badass was it when Susie rode up on the with the SUV and the?
that was super cool. That was super cool. Yeah.
I think even Gray was like, I think I'm in love when we
No,
got
I
the
mean,
grenade launcher.
Yeah, the whole Sarah Connor thing was kind of hot.
And losers.
Yeah,
We're going
basically.
shopping.
What about you, Matt? What was your like?
Oh, the Nephilim thing was.
Oh, the Nephilim thing,
Yeah,
right,
that was
right.
my like. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I think when I found out that my mother was a elemental.
Oh,
yeah.
Like I just didn't like. Because like I have like 3 paragraphs about what Dawn is. Because like you would message me, clearly was drinking on vacation, and I was like, yeah, this is her name. This is what she kind of looks like. I answered like the questions that you sent. I was like, on my merry way, and then like I don't remember having a conversation about that was fun, and like then I think you sent me like I have it in Messenger, and I remember reading it like this is what you know, and I was like, oh fuck, this is like deep, but it was just a little like background stuff about like where like she was from, and I didn't know if we even like had at that point even known about the elementals.
Mm-mm.
'Cause that was like episode 5.
Yeah,
Like
you were
6.
kind of the key into it
and
all.
then,
So.
but like we knew about the seals and whatnot. But like all of a sudden that happened, and that was just like I didn't know. That was like I was like, oh, she's so special. Like there is things to her, and like that was really cool.
Well, I had actually just watched when I came up with that. I had just watched the episode where it was the second episode where the Earth Elemental had actually given you a vision of your mom dying, and that was a really powerful RP moment for you because I actually saw you choke up, and we talked about it because there were other things going on in life, and I was like, oh man, what if I can make this attachment a little more special and a little more like important in the gaming world or in our world here.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, there's one elemental in mind that doesn't exactly have to be evil, and that's the element of soul that would be your corresponding and the reason why you have the mark. So I was like, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna make that super important. So
That was cool.
What about you?
Biggest moment. Let's see. I think it is, and like this is still like baffling Travis's head, let alone Henrietta's. Is when we're falling out of the sky, and all of a sudden we're just caught like a foot from the ground, and there's this well-dressed southern demon in front of us, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? And like the fact that, I knew he tortured her, and like the fact that he showed up at the last fight too, I think like that is probably one of the last thoughts going through Henrietta's head is, who the fuck are you and what do you want with us? Because what does he have to gain with the, Titans gain out? It's that's the moment that like, obviously meeting him the first time, I was like, oh, we got probably a big bad here. But it's stuck with me, as
well, Asmodeus is a prince of hell.
He's an
Yeah.
adjacent bad.
He's a what?
Adjacent bad. He wasn't the bad of the season, but he's an
Oh,
adjacent
right.
bad.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Christian, what's your big moment? Oh, yeah. Oh.
I think, apart from all of these, the one that's probably the most personal was realizing that it was Danica's father that it was
the
head
one that
of
was
the organization.
Yeah.
Also, I don't remember which episode it was that happened, because you started name dropping this organization and some of these people. If you go back and watch, just pay attention to my face. I was trying to be subtle. I don't know how well I was about it, but yeah, I knew at that point that I was in this organization, but I wasn't going to just tell you guys outright that, like, hey, yeah, I'm part of this problem. So
that was good because I do remember your face on that one because I was trying so hard. I think we were actually in Eric's basement, and I was trying so hard not to make eye contact with you during that because I didn't want to
I felt
anything away because I had messaged him prior, like maybe an episode or two beforehand. I was like, "This is what your organization is made up of, and this is basically who you're working for. These players in this game, their code names and everything. So, that's who you've been working for. That's where you get your money. And then like I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some tying together.
You killed your primary funding source and my primary funding source.
I mean, there's been a few times when he's mentioned like they're on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, he's going to take care of them, and well, it finally happened, and now he's kind of lost it for 70 years. So.
Well, just marry Danica and you'll inherit all the money anyway. It's fine.
Are you rich now? Want to go to your mom?
I'm an only child! My brother's dead!
You still have a mother?
No, my mother is alive, yes.
Yeah, but it would go to you, right?
It would.
Something I'm very interested in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to be
you're
rich
the daughter
again.
of an immortal. There's got to be some money out
And
there.
he doesn't have any other living children, so...
That you know of.
That you know of.
We know.
Although a senator did just up and disappear, and 7 years went by.
And so did his daughter and his wife, so...
But I feel like
Gray for a while.
But then, yeah.
your mom kind of ebbs and flows.
I know they're going to
So, like,
find you with me and be like, he kidnapped the daughter and murdered the parent!
Yeah, write this down.
She's got Stockholm Syndrome!
And she's an
We'll
old
be back on that
woman.
FBI.
Oh my gosh! Unbreakable! It's unbreakable.
You were hiding in a bunker for 7 years, and that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I need to rewatch that.
Not too far from the truth.
Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
question.
saw some. It looked like you had a comment you might have wanted to add
to
the whole he was.
Yeah, so I don't think I knew. Eric pays attention about 75%. I don't think I knew that Gray worked for the organization, so that's an aha moment for Eric right now. But I just realized that you just up and murdered the 4 people
Anyway, his employers.
Yeah.
So I don't think Don knows that, because Eric did.
Well, yeah, and Gray and Danica had that secret conversation in Bobby's kitchen, when this is all done, we should work together. We're going to have to kill these
I don't
people.
think we were involved with that.
Yeah, you guys weren't. Yeah, but Gray and I had that moment, these people are fucking with both of our lives. We need to... And I don't think Gray expected that Danica to be help me kill these people. I don't... the shock, I think...
Yeah, I didn't expect Danica to be so okay with this guy that is just we'll kill him. Who the hell cares? Sometimes to get what you want, somebody's gotta die.
Huh.
It's all good.
I think that Danica's been through some shit in the last several months.
Yeah.
And she just wants one threat to be off the table.
As nonchalant as Gray can be about killing someone, even he thinks you might be worse than him.
That's why. You remember that time when you said at the beginning, you don't want to be in this life? There's consequences.
He meant the criminal life.
Yeah, I know, but he had that conversation with the girls.
Yeah.
And Danica was
yeah, and that was when he was okay, all right.
Oh, you started out as a singer, you just play your guitar, and then that completely fell off, and you're let's do some coke.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that's how it usually happens.
Yeah,
I think that's how you're
Yeah, those are connected.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's probably connected.
We'll give you guys one more chance to ask any questions that you have before the last little segment that I want to do is to name your favorite chaotic moment throughout the Don't say anything right now. Just think about it. Doesn't have to be linked to your character. Just your personal favorite chaotic moment that happened. So, but did you guys have any other questions for me or any of the other players about the campaign?
Didn't you have a question about dreamwalking?
Yes. I was wondering if you had any future plans with dreamwalking or any unrevealed secrets about it that you were planning for Henrietta.
Well, I didn't know that Henrietta was mincemeat there at the end, so that is going to be determined. So that is something I'm going to put in my back pocket for later.
Fair enough.
I like that.
Because in the
That's a
supernatural
surprise
world,
to
nobody
keep
stays
it.
dead forever.
Right?
Scooby Ghost.
I guess my question to you is there anything that we missed? You know what I mean? I feel in a lot of the D&D stuff, there's a lot of things that we are we're going this way, and then all of a sudden, we're like, woo, we're over here, and like we just like are crazy. And I feel like we were fairly like we made a lot of progress and stuff like that. But is there anything like if this was a video game and you could complete it, did we 100% everything, or is there things that we totally like didn't pick up on, or there's things that we didn't pick up?
So, I mean, story elements that you might not have picked up on, I'm going to use later on you. So those I'm just going to carry over to season 2. So that one I won't
That's fair.
reveal.
I mean, fuck side quests.
Yeah, fuck side quests.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay, so
But-
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we said or did or like how we approach something that changed your mind on how to give us that plot point or how or like to change that plot point because it fit the narrative of what we were doing differently or better?
Oh gosh, yeah. There were plenty of times where I had to call an audible in my brain where I was like, okay, they're doing something over there now. How am I gonna bring this points on over here? But I mean, that was just the chaos of everything. I like this system because it's an always knitting, story of what's happening at all points in time. It's not this is D&D, this is set, this is how things need to go, these are your stats, everything is set. Monster of the Week is a narrative storytelling between myself and you guys, where you guys make most of the story up. I just have these ideas where you need to be, and then you guys make your way towards those.
Okay. I would also like to remember what I was thinking of earlier, okay? And it is a comment, and it is a question for Travis, kind of. So, you live with a DM too, okay?
Yeah.
When he is planning our demise, does he sit in a corner and chuckle to himself sometimes? Or go, oh, because Josh does that all the time.
I've only caught him planning a couple times because he'll often plan at home before I get home from work, and so I don't always catch him. But not so much a chuckle, but more like a ooh.
Josh
Just that noise.
Josh does most of his like game planning at the kitchen table, and if I go in there to get something, he's like, "Don't walk."
I just imagine you're like on your laptop and you're slamming. You're like, I was just watching porn. It's porn. Dude, like really
Josh is a very analog DM. He writes out, like hand writes
That's
out
crazy.
a lot of what he's planning.
But I also write it in my own.
But he also writes.
Oh, so you're just crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good to know. I'll be like FBI's most wanted.
I'll write out shorthand notes, just to because I know she's around. I don't want her to read.
I'm not a snooper.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
if you're a snooper. I'm a snooper.
But yeah, no, just in case.
I like the surprise.
I do too, but I like to ruin it too.
Yeah, if
But
you
then I'll complain about it.
if you go into their spare bedroom with the closet, there's actually note cards and yarn.
I love that.
Pictures, our pictures are hung up there.
Darts. Henrietta.
Well, I'm gonna come over to that one day and send you guys a picture. Like,
that.
look what you've done.
I told you.
He's gone completely insane.
Any other questions for anybody else or any other players? Me. This is your last chance. For
one
season
more
1.
question. Okay. Going into season 2, what is everyone's expectation? What's gonna happen? Session 1, like first 10 minutes. What's everyone's expectation of what we're gonna be doing?
You better not have any, because I am going to. Here's what your expectations are, and I'm just gonna lift them up.
But there are some things that will probably happen. Like, we'll have a conversation about Henrietta. We'll have a conversation about what the fuck do we do? Where do we go? What are we gonna do now? Right? Like, what's everyone's expectation?
I have an expectation that you're either gonna really love or really hate my new character.
Is it Twiggy?
No.
Oh, okay.
As long as it's not Julie Child.
That's Twiggy.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
Can she have the Rachel?
That's a huge callback.
Where's Rachel? Well, I always just ask where's Rachel. I really enjoy that. Just do that. So that's what you're doing now. I'll work your character.
Okay.
Play female, just please name them Rosemary.
Just that 1,000 yard stare I gave.
Okay.
I have control.
Like, does anybody else have any thoughts on what's going to happen?
I mean,
Like,
it's
season
gonna be.
two?
I think it's going to be a complete breakdown.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be.
over
it
there, I
is.
think it's going to be an emotional.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emotional chaos.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that, like, if, it's been 7 years, we're going to come into it knowing it's been some time, but we have no idea what year it is.
Well, we don't know how long it's been.
We don't know how
Right.
long it's been, but we know
just
it's
know
been
that
some...
we don't even know it's been. We just know it's a
Yeah.
different place, right?
We also know...
We know.
We
but
know,
They don't
but
know.
I think
we
that...
figured it out.
Raziel had told you guys that it was
right.
a time ahead,
Yeah.
but he did
But
not
we
tell
know,
you how
right,
long.
we know
Yeah.
that it's been a period of time. We can tell by the way people are dressing and
Yeah.
talking. But we don't know how long it's been. So,
Well,
like...
actually, on the calendar on your way out, you did see the date.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Mhm.
So we know how long it's been. So, like, are we going to... Like, is Dawn going to try and call her dad?
I mean, I'm sure that'll be like
Like-
her main concern. Well,
Yeah.
one of the like top 5. Maybe I should do some more planning about Dawn. But like that's what I'm thinking is like
Yeah.
she's probably worried about you because you two are the closest to her. You're gone.
and Gray.
You,
And we're
you
all,
can
like...
hide.
We're
Y'all
all, like...
forgot me in the club, by the way.
Yeah.
Y'all fucking rushed out. You
No,
decked
yeah.
the guy and bolted.
Oh, we gotta go back for Gray.
Like, Gray is still, like, just like...
dead on the floor.
That was like my next comment. We were all, like, super fucked
Oh,
up.
I have like one.
Yeah,
one down. I'm almost perfect. Like,
Oh, see, I think
Oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys
Actually,
took
I think
damage.
it's
Yeah, I
just
think-
myself, so I only have like 2 damages or
I think
something like
did
that.
the damage you take from yourself? Was it
yes,
like-
yes, I gave that to
But
myself.
like
Yeah.
Gray's super fucked up, and we all look like hell. Like even if
Yeah.
our health is okay, we've all been beat the shit up.
Yeah.
I think
Right?
the only damage that was meant for you was actually taken by these two.
Yes,
so
that's accurate.
I am excited though, like, because y'all don't know where you're at or when you're at, but like, me coming in, like, new character, like, I'm excited to see how, like,
Oh, that's my favorite.
how I tie in.
Yeah.
Like, why am I there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're,
I think that's,
you're just ever.
yeah.
I
I love origin stories,
Yeah.
and so,
I like that. I like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
things tie
Yeah.
together and like newness.
yeah.
I am excited to meet your new character.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Yes.
To design it. All I know is I have to reprint out my sheet. There's no more room to write on my sheet.
right.
I didn't know this was like a continuous thing.
We should just do like we should frame the old sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, legit. Like
The
there
front
are.
page of the old sheets where mine says plus Coke.
I think mine is completely untouched.
You
I
know,
took notes in the
Oh,
back.
you took it to the back. Oh yeah, like Eric and I are over here like doodling on our
Drawing on
sheets.
it.
Yeah.
And
If I'm not like
Kind of
drawing, I get
psychopath.
really like agitated.
what about DM? Do you have any expectations that you can share with us?
No, absolutely
No?
not. You
Okay.
get nothing from me.
Cool.
Damn it.
Oh,
It's gonna be chaos. You're in 1992. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
That's about right.
I'm excited. I like that, like the reset.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, like you need to figure some shit out. I think.
All right.
So,
Craziest
Maybe
moment.
be a little bit more of a reset than you think. Maybe that's what I'll leave you with.
Oh no.
Dun, dun, dun.
dun, dun.
So chaotic moments. Christian.
Yeah, so I had to really narrow this down because there was a lot. But I think it definitely is the car chase scene in Kalamazoo
That was magic.
where we were chasing down the ambulance trying to rescue Dawn.
Yeah.
That's
That was a good moment.
my all-time favorite moment.
Yeah, Birth of Time Man. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was magic.
It
Like,
was the most chaos thing that I could think we've ever done.
right. It's the first time the 4 of us have played together, just us. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a weird. It was like
it was a good session, and it was
yeah.
chaotic, and I love chaos.
it was interesting to have that dynamic because our dynamic is so different when all of us are here.
Mhm.
And like, I remember just being terrified playing that because I'm a watcher. Like, I will like interact as need be, but I'm really watching you guys play and like interacting as I need to. And like, I was like, you could ask Chris. I was like, well, I'm really excited to play this tonight, but like, I don't know. And also, it's a new mechanic. I'm still trying to figure out D&D Beyond for 3 years.
Right.
So it was scary to like have to be playing with 3 strong players. But it was really fun to see our dynamic. So like I think that was a real magical moment where
I
I knew
think
we were
you-
doing something cool.
Yeah.
You stepped in, and stepped up because, like, you were the one that, told them that you were going to go to, like, a clothier place to actually get, like, FBI clothes to match Gray and then go get your picture taken. You were asking questions on the campus, and you were actually the first one to stop the dean and, like, impose yourself.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. It's just evil man. It was just a bald little
Gamer!
Yeah. Maybe I should rewatch these. I think they might be good. These are good. I've only watched the first two
Oh, yeah, no.
because I wasn't there.
Right.
Maybe these are fun.
Travis, what was your favorite
No,
chaotic moment?
I'm like mulling them all in my head because you got there's falling out of an airplane.
Yeah.
That was just good role playing chaos. You got Kalamazoo, classic. Nightmare in the hotel.
Yeah, that was really good. That was gonna be mine.
Oh my god.
Right?
Christmas, like
Christmas.
oh my
Christmas
Krampus.
was fun.
Krampus.
Oh my Krampus.
You let
Shoot.
Krampus out.
He's fine. We'll see what he's been up to for 7 years.
Yeah.
Killing people,
I
probably.
just had it in my head. I think my favorite one.
Do you need a moment? Do we need to come back to you?
Might need to. Give me another moment.
Okay,
I got
okay.
derailed. Sorry.
Okay. There are a lot of good moments, guys. There are a lot of good moments. I'm gonna go with some simple chaos. Okay, just some simple chaos, and I love the gas station scene.
Oh.
Fucking like.
Which one? You're gonna have
Those
to
are the-
be
those
I'm
are
gonna
the
describe it. The first gas station scene. Okay? We got Henrietta in the car with the heat turning on, airing out her shoes, okay? we got Danica inside buying shit and whatever and looking for the bathroom key, and we've got Dawn having, was that the what where you were having like private conversations behind the gas station with your mom?
Mhm.
Sure.
Yep, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like that happened.
Yep.
I think this was in we were in Texas.
In Texas,
we were in
yeah.
Texas.
Oh.
We all took shots.
Yep.
We all took shots. And,
We are so fun.
the girls all got I bought liquor inside to wash my hands because there was no soap. There was a cockroach in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Is this when we all fell in love?
Yes.
That was the moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we had all the girls taking shots of the remaining vodka and then getting back in the car and it like stank and yes, all of that. I loved all of that chaos. And just the part before it too where Olivia was like dealing with Danica freaking out because she had to go to the bathroom and
I was like, you just went!
yeah. And that felt so sincere to me to what really happens when you're on a road trip with your friends or with your family. There's always somebody who cannot contain their bladder to just stop all the time. And there's always like somebody who is like frustrated with all the stops or like the angry father or whatever. And like, it made us feel like a family, but also the chaos that comes with that.
Chaos that comes with real family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you,
Well,
man?
mine was going to be the hotel one where they were going through all the different horror movies. But Travis already said that one.
Well, I was just throwing. It's not my favorite, but
Oh,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
highlight.
That was definitely like up there. Some of the like really just random interactions with people. Like you remember the old Mexican lady that we talked
Oh
to?
no!
Like the very first episode,
Yes.
and you scared the shit out of her. Like
right.
those little like tidbits that I'm sure you couldn't have planned for. Like that was 100% off the cuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Giraffes.
Like randomly, or just randomly creating monsters, like in Purgatory. I think those are the really crazy parts that I think make the episode so fun.
Mhm.
Was I'm going to try and make a monster. I can't control it. Let's see what it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric?
I feel like I need to watch these episodes. But I feel like we've said a lot of good ones. Like I remember really liking Purgatory. I feel like that's where we like hit our stride. And like when I'm viewing something or like interacting with it however you want to do it. I really like it when there's I like storyline driven stuff, and so all the chaos stuff we have done was really fun in the beginning, learning the mechanics. But I feel like around Purgatory is where we really started telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really exciting because I was like, oh, this is all building to something, and I really enjoy that. But I think any moments that girls interacted, I've really enjoyed their relationships forming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun to play with Matt because I've always you guys have played for a long time and whatever, but I'm new to this and you have always been my DM.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to play with my friend and see what they're like as a character.
Mhm.
So that was really fun, interacting. I feel like Alicia and I always our characters are always somehow together. And I think that's just the mother person in you trying to help my character out,
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciate. But it's been really interesting, the three of us interacting and
I love how we morphed over time into the Weird Sisters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because at the very beginning, Olivia and Danica didn't really like each other.
Mhm.
There was some weird chemistry between them. And I think it's just because Olivia is an odd person, right? So, she rubs off on you the wrong way at first. And Dawn was this new person to the fold, right? But we all I think maybe it's because we all do magic,
Yeah,
and I think
right.
we're all we bonded over
we
that.
get it. And we all have
get it.
different magic.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's really
yeah, because
interesting.
yours is way more healing magic,
Mhm.
yeah, and yours is way more mental,
Yeah,
kind
psychic
of
thing.
magic. And Danica doesn't use her magic for damage or in that way. She's doing it to boost people.
Yeah.
She's doing it to create things. She's using
Yeah.
it in a way different way than everybody else because she's mostly I want to hit things.
Which is funny because the classes themselves, at least in the base of Monster of the Week, don't actually put any limitations on that. That's just kind of how your characters
Have
have
developed.
developed.
Yeah.
Because, in theory, you guys could do magic. It's just you.
I got no magic.
No, you could do magic. You probably would just roll horribly,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
We clearly played our strengths because, I was oh, I have the highest weird. So, and mine's, it's called the Spell Slinger. So,
Yeah.
Right.
clearly I'm going to use magic.
And see,
Because she's more of a red mage.
Yeah.
She can do a lot of damage with shit, but also, in her, travels, she's become a better healer. She was just a basic healer, but has gotten a gift from Santa and, learned things from Lotus
Mhm.
and, became that. And I feel that's kind of how I see her is, she is there to, protect her people because I feel that's probably a personality trait from her mother,
Mm-hmm.
but also, has learned this fire magic and all this other thing. She can do other stuff. I just like fire.
Yeah.
But she clearly has those two things, and that's what that was the problem with Henrietta is oh, I want to heal you. I don't think you're that bad because you don't look bad because that was your thing. Is we don't see that damage necessarily.
Mhm.
I've seen you look rough, and I was oh, this is normal for Henrietta,
Mhm.
and I was I need to go help because I think at that point Elpis was taking you to the church,
Right. Yeah.
and I was trying to stop that. I was I need to do this right now because I can cause a lot of damage.
Right.
I can deal with you later.
And at that point, what's the bigger threat?
Yeah.
Right.
We are right here at the end game. Things are about to get broken out.
Yeah.
And that's more
So-
that feels more important in the moment, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So
We'll go back to Travis. Did you think of?
Yeah, I did. Honorable mention, the showdown at the crossroads in Purgatory.
Oh yes.
Yep, that was
good.
a good one, especially lassoing both our angel friend and the outlaw in one fell swoop.
Yes, as the fire monster.
Particularly, I liked the sound you made. But no, I think just best chaos action moment. I think is our fight with the Earth Elemental Dardanus. Yep, and just everything going on, driving straight into a trap, and then trying to shoot open this hourglass and a fucking minigun coming out of the van that we tilted over and
through the air.
yeah. Fighting, my nemesis, the Wendigo, and, Dardanus at the same time, and just, it was just, an action movie, guns akimbo, just, Mission Impossible, just, it was all those, genres shoved into half of an episode, and it was awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, let's see here. I mean, most of the really good ones have definitely been mentioned already. I really did
Sorry.
like. No, it's good. I really
I gave
did.
you options.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Christmas episode was probably one of my favorites, just because the just chaos of dealing with Krampus, getting caught in his snares with the snow globes, and Gray going and getting a goddamn grenade launcher to try to deal with him, and then eventually like trapping him in back in the room, but then Danica maybe unwillingly freeing him, but at the same time, like later on that night, when they're still when you guys were still trying to figure out like the body in the morgue kind of thing, and then Danica gets the vision. I think Christian kind of knew it, but didn't want to say it. But then like. I could see Alicia's gears turning when she had the vision and the knife was the same.
I had that dream. It was a dream when we were sleeping. Yeah, and I think even you guys can see it on camera. Like, I was like...
Yeah, the gears kind of slowly turned and you could see the steam coming out, and she was like, "Oh God, Santa's in the morgue!" Oh, yeah. And then, as a keeper, giving you all gifts from Santa was probably my favorite, too. So that was fun.
I have a honorable mention. Most touching moment was Christmas at Dawn's dad's
I was
house.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
That was really
That
like...
was a very touching moment, I think. Especially for the weird sister, like the girls.
Yeah.
That was a really good bonding moment. I mean, Mr. Gray was there, but I don't think that Mr. Gray is open, like, he's open to let himself have that kind of, like, emotional attachment to things.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he was there. He had that moment with the dad, but I definitely, right?
I'm still mad about that.
But I think that the girls, like, they had some bonding time. It was a really nice, like, thing to see, like, somebody with a parent who is just a normal, loving parent.
Yeah.
Who is definitely needs more hugs.
I still need to watch that episode. I wasn't there for that.
Oh, yeah, you
it was a
were.
good
Yeah,
one.
is that out yet? Is it coming up?
It's coming up.
And now it is.
Friday?
Now it's out. It's out.
Oh, yeah. Right
If you're
now.
watching this now, you've already seen it because you're watching the final wrap up, but like
Time
for us in real time, not yet.
Yeah.
I do need to. I may have like fumbled when that moment with
Dale.
Dale.
What was your mom?
He was.
Cassie, I think.
Okay, I was like, you got Dale, you got Dawn.
She was just a person. I don't remember.
Antiope was
Yeah,
her
she's
real name.
Antiope.
So he was referring to himself. He wasn't. There was no dig at Dale. He was referring to himself as kind of the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it came across.
Yeah.
Right.
It came across very arrogant.
Right.
Like, you don't know who I am? And I was like, we don't know who you are. How does this guy know? Like, so that could have just been
I
like...
think it's weird, like, because he's commented on this when we saw him on the news the next day, that you guys don't know who I am. I've been all over the news a lot, like, for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think that Gray forgets that the people that he travels with are 3 young girls who are not interested in watching the
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I barely watched that.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
37. No, I'm 38. I don't
But in the
watch
80s, it was
25.
that was
Yeah.
really the only way to get information
Yeah.
was actually watching
If
the
anything,
Yeah.
we were in gas stations, like looking at like the
Yeah.
tabloids, and be like, "Oh my God, Sasquatch again! Oh, don't find him!" Like,
And I
you know,
have to imagine that maybe somewhere in her back of her mind that Danica might have been aware of it or seen it or heard her dad talk about it or something because she's in that like political world, but that's not something that's relevant to her
Very
life.
fair.
So she would have been like,
Yeah.
whatever, and probably would have never recognized him after that.
Right.
So like, I think it was a really good like opportunity to bring that up. And like I liked what was going on there, but I was just like, oh, I like me personally, like you like rub me the wrong way because I like have an attachment to this person. Isn't that funny? And I was like, why is Christian being so handsome like that? like that's me. It's just he just made us hungry mention
There was a few things that was more of like trying to like me throw out a like, you know, there's so much going on around in the world and people just ignoring what's going on is the reason why these problems are still around and why they're not being solved.
Right.
So that was kind of a personal like vendetta, just like there's this, but also the whole like at the end of like, you know, just if people paid attention more, they might understand why some people shouldn't be involved in other people's lives. That was more of like, if you watched, you would know why I shouldn't be in this girl's life.
I just don't think we knew that because that wasn't something that you had brought up. So it would have been interesting if we had like, because it was Christmas, right? If we had gone and we were going to watch like Rudolph or something on TV, and all of a sudden it was like a breaking news, like Christian Raymondson or whatever, Ray is like has been spotted or something like that. It'd be like that would have been interesting to interact to see like what like because we knew you're evil or like involved in this corporation.
Yeah. We knew that he was shady.
Yeah,
and there was something there. But we didn't talk
know
about it.
Yeah, we didn't know at that level that you were like well known. We just knew that you were like doing shit.
Right.
And so like that's what I liked you were talking about. Like clearly having this conversation with Dale, like, oh, you don't know who I am, and it's like, well, we don't know either. Like, so that would have been interesting to like sit around and like we're making popcorn and watching TV, and all of a sudden like breaking news or like 60 Minutes comes on and they're like.
Kind of,
and it's one of those
still looking for Ray Grayson.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because the following episode there was, and I had like I forgot to tell you, so like as you're building up into the episode, I was like, oh, shit, I gotta tell him. So that was like me trying to lead into that so that I could give the excuse of okay, you're going to know who he is now.
Yeah.
So
I think I do think it's interesting. I wonder too, like now that we know who he is and what he's done, or at least what the news says he's done, has anyone's opinion of Gray changed?
Nope, not at all.
Don? Don't care? Does Don care?
I think he's just there. I think he, like, to Dawn, Gray is another puzzle in this piece of that she's trying to, like, figure out, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next season, you know, what the issue is.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be interesting enough that Dawn might just peace out. You know what I mean? Dawn might be like, oh, this isn't my battle anymore. Mm-hmm. It probably is. But, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts or anything before we finish this, wrap this up?
Nope.
I think that's all I got.
Can't wait to see you next season.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And until then, watch
It's not a cat, isn't it?
It always comes back.
But you could be my familiar, though.
Oh.
I love that. Like a familiar that you could like morph into a human, but then you're my cat.
Yeah.
Idea.
Right?
Okay.
I don't think the Animorphs are made yet.
No, that was late 90s.
Anyways,
Doesn't have to be an Animorph, it could just be cool, right?
Well, just remember to keep watching our D&D episodes. There will be more of those. I think our next D&D episode that you see will actually be like this one, where it's an out of character us talking about what happened, because like episode was 11?
10.
10. Monster of the Week, we had the camera issues and mic issues, so that episode is not playable. And if we've ever fixed it one day, we will show it to you. It was a really good episode. We did discuss it, and that will be out after this episode the next time we have a release. So keep an eye out for that one.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in for Monster of the Week. We hope you enjoyed Season 1, and stay tuned for Season 2.
Are you wondering what your favorite wacky nerds are up to? Search for Campaigns of the Plains on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and make sure to follow and like us to keep up with all our content and news. You might also find exclusive content for fans only. Remember to catch us on YouTube every Friday at noon for a new episode of Campaigns of the Plains.